your deathbed and think, I wish I would have, I would not have. And I've not let that happen. So I've taken advantage of opportunities as they've arisen. I'm proud of that. You can't do everything. But I also felt, gosh, you mentioned some of my background, but as a prosecutor, as a federal prosecutor, as a criminal defense attorney in the Navy, and I've been on the bench for 9 years. And I just saw that our program nationwide of drug prohibition was not working. And so I did something very unusual, as you know, for a sitting trial court judge. Back in 1992, I held a press conference. Judges don't do that. And told anyone that was listening that, you know, what our nation's drug policy was doing was harming us more than it was helping us, and there had to be a better way. Let's put our heads together and come up with it. And you know, it's better than a pretty conservative judge in a conservative county that never used any form of illicit substances. At least they had to listen to the message. And some of the best people I've ever met in my life, I've met because of my involvement in drug policy reform. Absolutely. And now you ask that note for the next 50 years after. You know, it really is. Witness this, and we've discussed this before, and it bears repeating. The United States of America has 5% of the world's population and 25% of its business. And there was a U.S. Senator named Jim Webb, I think from Virginia, who was faced with those statistics and said, look, either we're the most criminally oriented people in the world, or we're doing something wrong. Which do you think it is? And of course, it's mostly this drug prohibition, which really has become a war on drugs, it's become a war on our people, mostly in the lower economic areas, because they can't defend themselves so well. And then they use, and I've seen this in juvenile courts repeatedly, where juvenile street gangs would use as a recruiting tool. Hey man, you know, you want to make some money? You know you'll never make our gang and sell illicit drugs. And it's true. And it's a real positive thing that they bring these people into their street gangs, and it just causes harm all the way around. You started a great story, Jim, about the woman who was going through a divorce because her husband drank too much. Tell us that story. Well, that was in my drug court, and I started this was alcohol-related offenses, George, and that I found quickly as a trial court judge, that we would take these people who were alcoholics, who were prime candidates to be recidivists and really hurt people, and we kind of slap them on their wrist and take away some money and shoot them out the door. So I actually started a review program where you had a drug alcoholic, 0.18 or above, or addicted. We would put you on a program. And the program would take you off alcohol. And then after you enroll in the program, 30 days later, you'd have to come back with proof of enrollment, and you'd have a blood test and all these various things, join AA, and bring a letter from someone in your life that's saying, okay, you've been off alcohol now for the last 30 days. What things have you changed? And George, I'm proud of it. I have a staff of, I don't know, maybe an inch and a half thick. Such as, dear Judge Gray, I was going to divorce my wife. He would get, my husband. He would get drunk. He took me. He'd be irresponsible with our children. But now that he's taken him off alcohol, thank you, he's given me my husband back. I mean, how many letters like that do you need to know that you're on the right track? And it feels just really good to be able to do that. And we would have sometimes the arresting officer would come at the end of the program and embrace the person that he'd arrested, and the arrestee would embrace him too, saying, the best thing that's ever happened to me, you've shown me the light, you've enforced it, you've gotten me off this drug of choice, and now I'm living a pretty much normal life. It's pretty rewarding.
I don't think the future of the United States deals with young people. I mean, I know some folks, they call into the program, they really have their act together. But what about the rest of the population, the younger population? Are you confident that they can carry the torch for us?
George, I'll tell you, we have a program that we have taped. It's 17 episodes. It's called Becoming America. America is a perfect idea. The United States of America is a work in progress. And it's based on the federal constitution. I've written a musical about that, etc. I was interviewing a political science professor who believed the United States was a better country 10 years ago than it was 20 years ago. I think we're a better country today than we were 10 years ago. And I think we'll be a better country 10 years from now than we are today. Do you agree? And he almost choked, George. He said, Judge Gray, I'm so sorry you asked me that question. I believe we're a better country today, but with this culture of victimization, with this irresponsibility that is becoming evident in our society, it's going to be up to our young generation as to whether or not we're a better country be 10 years from now, because victimization does not work for the individual, certainly does not something positive. They're buying people's votes. So I'm concerned about this strategy, which,
keep your eyes on it for us, will you?
I promise. I promise. I write about it as much as I can. In fact, listeners, I've gotten quite a few listeners contact me through my website, which is judgejimgray.com, and it's interactive, and I've written quite a few things. In fact, I've written something we call 2 Paragraphs for Liberty. I sent it out kind of as a blog. My 400th edition went out today, so it's been 400 Mondays that I've written that out there, all on judgejimgray.com. I prove pretty much every time I open my mouth, George, that I don't have all the answers. But it's really important to spur a discussion and give and take. And by the way, my father was a true hero of mine, federal judge, and he said something that should be quoted everywhere, which is, you have every right to disagree, but you have no right to be disagreeable. And that's where we're going today. We're so polarized. Anybody says something that, oh my goodness, and then you attack them.
Let's talk more about that, Jim, when we come back in a moment. Judge Jim Gray with us will take calls with his next hour on Coast to Coast Station.
Sign up now for Coast Zone, a free email newsletter. Get it today at coasttocoastam.com.
I'm sitting in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Susie Williams' family says she was one of a kind, beautiful, generous, and possessed the brilliances of humor and glitter and spirit that everyone loves. The family revealed today Williams, best known for her role in the Burning Shirley, died last Wednesday. She was 75. A man from Las Vegas who allegedly stole 2 French bulldogs from their pregnant owner in Studio City at gunpoint has been arrested. The dogs have been reunited with their owner. LAPD says the man was booked on suspicion of robbery after being taken into custody Thursday. The death toll from the bombing at a mosque in Pakistan is up to 83. Officials say more bodies were found as rescue crews searched through the rubble. No jackpot winning tickets were sold for tonight's Powerball drawing, and the jackpot for the next drawing Wednesday will be worth an estimated $653 million in 60s in the Valley Canal East, with 51 in San and 50 in Garden Grove. We leave local in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Amy Kennedy.
This is all the good West Sound actually. We have a crash there, taking us from West Lane. The driver stop and go from the 605. And this morning, we have 15. Earlier crash on the 405 northbound after Western Avenue has been physically designed is recovering in that area. And in Hudson, this is on the 5 southbound connected to the 55 southbound. We have cleanup crews from an earlier crash blocking that transition road. Watch for the lanes as you approach. KFI of the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Brian Van. This report is sponsored by CalHope.org.
I think it's okay to get stressed and just worried about it. CalHope and Hope. Access CalHope free institute and help call 833-317-4273 or live at CalHope.org.
The podcast Murder in Miami traces the connection between the killing of a private investigator and this international money laundering scheme. It's a shocking, surreal story of crime, smuggling, and corruption in the city that was the nation's cocaine and murder capital in the 1980s.
Did he tell you who he was running the gun for?
Well, it was obvious. The CIA was growing that show. Listen to Murder in Miami on the iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcast.
Life is uncertain. It's okay if you're stressed and anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. The challenge is secure mental health resources. It's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need. When you need it most, call our one line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org. Next, for your voice.
AM 640. I was like 20 minutes. 20 minutes with any voice I had to do. Well, you got a voice I don't like. demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. We are here to spread love, tolerance, what? This mocking was full. The critical hole. Thinking about the brand of the disability, the fraud, the state. Rise 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk. KFI, AM 640. From the City of Angels, this is Coast to Coast AM with George Yorrie.
We're going to open up the phone lines next hour with Judge Jim Gray, so you get ready to make the call to get on the program. It's the interactive portion of the show. Beyond Belief, talk about portions of our show. That is our television portion of the program. That is indeed at beyondbelief.com is the website. Head over there. Ad-free episodes we have for you, as well as a 7-day free trial and some other surprises at beyondbelief.com. And Tom, of course, in just another month or so, we are going to have Mr. Pat Boone. Indeed, you and I, George, will welcome acting singer Pat Boone to our luncheon on Saturday, February 25th. And guess what? I just happen to have Mr. Pat Boone with me on the line. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. By the way, you're expecting about 100 people or so?
At least. Hey, listen, Pat, we're really looking forward to seeing this day. It's a banquet-style luncheon. There's a bar. Of course, we're going to play your music throughout the room. And you're the man of the afternoon. And, Pat, I know you are a wonderful storyteller, so I'm hoping we're going to hear many stories of your music and acting career that day.
You're right. I have several, and I'm going to make up some more.
Pat, listen, I do have one question I wanted to ask you. When you were in your teens, did you have any idea that you would become the superstar that you are today?
Never. No, I was planning to be a pizza preacher. I did dream of, being a major singer, but I just didn't see myself as having some major star quality. And it was very unpredictable. I mean, I think show business is very unfair. And because a lot of times people with very little talent become big stars, and others with very big talent don't become stars. You can't guarantee success in the entertainment industry. So I was going to be a teacher, but I did sing at the top of the hat anytime I got a chance to sing when people asked me to, and they just kept asking. So I kept singing, and that led eventually to a recording contract. But then I waited 8 months after I agreed to record for this company, Back Records, before they called me to say we found a song. So I thought that they had to know about me. But that first record became a hit from Hector's a Million Seller, and that started a string of 41 chart records. And without ever being off the charts for 2.5 years.
I was looking at your numbers the other day, just amazing. And somebody had a different idea for you because you became who you are. I just wanted to thank you for spending a few minutes with me, and we are so looking forward to seeing you.
I'm really looking forward. Talk about stories. George is the guy with all the stories, and you are the story yourself.
We'll probably tell some too. So, Pat, once again, thank you so much.com website. Absolutely. Tom, there are a couple ways to do it. One, the events at the top of the homepage. Click that, folks, and it'll take you straight to the link. And also in our revolving highlight reel, all those little buttons you see, one of those 4 DMs will take you to the fast food event. So come on out. It's just 25th. Really looking forward to it. Tom has added 20 more seats to the table. So come on and let's have a great time. Now build up your immune system.
HealthyLooking.com and Dr. Alan Malay brings 4 decades of experience in natural products for the exclusive stem cell wellness kit that works with your body's stem cells to assist your immune system. Here's Dr. Malay with more.
Whether it's physical activity, obesity, diet, smoking, low on hormones, stress, supported by reducing inflammation and creating the body to heal itself appropriately. A stem cell is a cell that needs to be told what it needs to do. If there is inflammation, that inflammation needs to be stopped. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, kidney disease, various types of cancer, depression, Alzheimer's disease, autoimmune disorders, osteoporosis, even fatty liver are chronic signs of inflammation and can be aided by supporting the body's ability to protect those cells that it needs. And that is the purpose of ImmuChem and adaptogen together, supporting the body to do the best it can do.
Dr. Maria, how will I feel after taking a adaptogen and ImmuChem?
The ImmuChem is going to have an immediate effect, but I tell you, your immune system is in 30 minutes.
Order now at HealthyLooking.com. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit from Dr. Maria protects your body's stem cells and will make you feel better faster. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit with adaptogen and ImmuChem and your food gift relaxol is only available at HealthyLooking.com or toll free at 800-563-3980. That's 800-563-3980. Don't forget to enter promo code George for free shipping. George is Stem Cell Wellness Kit at HealthyLooking.com. That's HealthyLooking.com.
Imagine you're in a room with 4 other people. Statistically, one of you is a victim of identity theft. That's right, 1 in 5. And these aren't careless people either. They're probably a lot like you, watching your accounts and credit. But that isn't always enough, especially with your personal info in more places than ever. It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself by monitoring your identity and alerting you to threats you could miss on your own. If you become a victim of identity theft, a U.S.-based LifeLock restoration specialist will be dedicated to your case and work to fix it. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to LifeLock.com and use promo code George. First year or 1-800-LifeLock.
Tired of overpaying for your cell phone bill? Switch to Consumer Cellular and save up to half on your wireless plan. They are quick and easy. Plus, you can keep your phone and number with no contract or activation fees. They offer unlimited talk and $15 a month for life. Never worry about dropped calls. Consumer Cellular has the exact same coverage as the major carriers to over 99% of the nation. This is only the millions of others who are clicked. Go to consumercellular.com/radio25 and for a limited time, get $25 off when you use promo code radio25. That's consumercellular.com/radio25. Promo code radio25.
And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie back with Judge Jim Gray. His website is his name, linked up at coasttocoastam.com. Several of the books include Where in the World, Why Our Drug Laws Have Failed, and What We Can Do About It. Also 2030 Kids. Judge, we have lost, and I don't know when it happened, but you're right. We've lost the ability to discuss things with people without other people going ballistic. What happened? You know, I traced it back to when we got all these cable TV channels, and I thought, wow, it's going to be wonderful. We're all going to get different information, but I was wrong, because now you'll find these different cable TV channels that will find exactly your thoughts, and your biases, and will cater everything right to you, and mainly, I think, made us very polarized. We don't have any walls of contact anymore to try to talk to everybody. They just talk to individuals. We live through this sometimes, where we have an important story, listen to about 5 different broadcasts in different stations, and they'll get the names right, and everything else will be slanted one way or the other. It's a sorry thing, and I think it's resulted in our being so polarized, which is a disaster. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Do you have hope that we're going to pull ourselves out of it? Good, we're resilient. I do, certainly so. We've faced a lot of difficulty in our past, but we need some leadership, and we need people to stand up. And by the way, it's our government, George, and if it's not working, we have no one to blame but ourselves. That's a rather overwhelming task, but
accountable to contact our elected officials and say, wait a minute, what about this? And what are you doing about that? You mentioned one of our books. I'm proud to say that I wrote with my wife, Grace Walker Gray. It's called 2030 Kids. We are the rising heroes of the planet. And it talks about, I think, the most important issue, and it certainly doesn't have to happen, but it's a tragedy. And it almost always gravitates to the lower economic areas, which regretfully are a lot of African Americans, Hispanics, and that sort of thing. It's not racial, but it's economic. But we've written a novel to try to empower parents to understand that if they could choose where their government money would be spent, the education of their children, they would demand excellence and they would receive it. So if you think about it, George, and this is something that's really leading our country astray, public education is the only area in our economy where the provider dictates what the purchaser will buy, and so they don't have to compete. But if you bring in choice, you bring in empowering parents to choose, now you'll have competition and everybody will get better, except the teachers that can or won't choose, they'll be fired, fortunately, and we will have to go off and do something different. But losing our children at such an early age and not getting a quality education is a disaster, and we must change that. I looked at that title to that book, 2030, and it seemed like it was millions and years away. It's only 7 years away from now. That's correct. It's amazing. We take a fourth grade student, and 7 or 8 years from now, and he's going to be graduating from high school, and he's going to be out there in the world. And what type of person will he or she be? It's so much better. We have him decide to make a table. Well, because you have to measure, and you have to add up, and you have to all this sort of stuff. So we have them much more active in their school, and it's really it's just exciting possibility, and it's starting to sweep the country. And Arizona's gone into this now. Lots of places in Florida, Milwaukee, Wisconsin has had it for years. It's something everybody should look into and support. Are the schools different than when we went to school? Yes, I think so. I got a very quality education, but we were upper middle class, and I was public schools all the way, me too. I met Milton Friedman one time. Actually, I was running a drug policy for him. He was there, and in a mission, he was talking about school choice. And I said, well, Dr. Friedman, I was a product of public schools. I don't want to harm our public schools. And he said, then let me ask you two questions. Number one, if you're the parent of a high school-age child, what country in the world would you want that child to go to get the best public education that he could? I said, well, I'm not sure, but probably not the United States of America. He said, I think you're right. Second question, if you're the parent of a college-age child, what country in the world would you want that child to go to get the best quality public education that he or she could? And I said, well, there, I think it would be the United States. He said, I agree with that as well. You know the difference? Parents can choose where their money is going to be spent for college. They cannot choose for high school. He converted me at that moment. It's critically important. What about private school? Well, it could be private school, it could be military school, vocational school. The parents are in much better position to understand the best place for their child to go, the best type of education. Some are going to be doctors of philosophy and others want to be mechanics. So maybe a vocational school would be best for some, the liberal arts school, let the parents choose and let the money go where those choices are made. They will demand excellence again, and there will be a lot more catered to the needs of that individual child. Do you think we should make drugs legal? No, but only in a technical word. I would regulate and control them, basically like wine, or some of them like marijuana. But as far as the other mind-altering drugs, I'd probably put them in the control of medical doctors, the medical profession. So then if you're going, they could prescribe them, but they would then educate you. So think about it this way with regard to mind-altering, sometimes addicting substances. The best quality program we have had in the United States in the last 40 years is with cigarettes. We have not made them illegal for adults, but we put education out there, we put actual mores out there, we put restrictions with regard to where you can smoke, and it's worked. We have many, many fewer young people smoking cigarettes than certainly when I was growing up. And so a program of that kind where you rely on education and responsibility is where we should go with these other substances as well. And then you get into a disaster, which is fentanyl. Fentanyl, people do not overdose on fentanyl. George, that's a drug poisoning, and it's caused by drug prohibition because we have no alcohol prohibition, we have the same problem with white lightning, with impurities in the alcohol. People go blind. We heard that. People could die. That went away almost overnight when we came to our senses and repealed alcohol prohibition. So it's the lack of quality control and, of course, the drug money. I already talked about, juvenile street gangs, but just look at Mexico, George. Look what our drug money has done for life in Mexico, where the cartels now almost outdone the military government. They have more money too, and it's been a bloody disaster, literally so. It's all caused by our policy of drug prohibition. Shame on it.
Do you have plans to run for political office again?
No, I'm running away from political. Before, and I was the Libertarian nominee for vice president in 2012. Didn't get close to winning any of those elections. So I tell people with all sincerity that I'm not a politician, and I have the votes to prove it.
I think people are tired of politics, aren't they?
I am. I don't see any leaders in our country. Forget whatever political views you have. I don't see any leadership where people are standing up, educating, saying, this is the reason, this is why we should do such and such. Basically, I just saw something today with a man that's going to run for president, the Libertarian, and he said, in fact, his name is Lars Napstead, he says, if you think the problems government caused is bad, wait till you see that it's proposed solutions. And government's just not nearly as well as the private sector. Of course, talk about controversial. I would do away with FEMA, the Federal Emergency Fund, and just have private contracts with the Red Cross when the act is active. To do a far better job than government. Now we did. Yes.
We should.
Yes, we could.
We have a huge sensitive population of listeners.
Yes, we do.
And how many of those people should really be in jail?
Some should be in jail, some should be in prison for a while, but the vast majority should have gone on probation. Without that, we over-incarcerate a particularly mindlessly long periods of time incarceration. Now, I'm not talking about Charles Manson and Sir Hanson and those sort of serial killers, but there's so many people that, okay, maybe they made a mistake, maybe they're absolutely innocent, but they have a skin to it and testify wrongly, they're always confessed to me or whatever, and they're facing 30 years in prison if you go to trial and they believe the snake. And they're offering you 2 years in prison if you plead guilty. Some people that are factually innocent are literally coerced into pleading guilty. Now, I'm not damning the entire system, George. I think our system is basically pretty good, but it certainly has some holes in it. And certainly I think that the Bureau of Prisons needs to be examined. We need to get some transparency much more into our prisons. We have too many people that died of COVID. We have lack of medical care in prison that is, I think, a disgrace from what I can tell. I have a good friend who's a medical doctor who was in a women's prison just monitoring it. He said it's just terrible. And these people are in our custody, and they should have a threshold of security, health care, nutrition, exercise. It's just basic, just who we are. Detective Dostoevsky, I think it was, who said that you can tell more about a society by walking into its prison than you can any other way. I don't think our society would look very good from what I can tell.
I hear the prison system in Mexico is war.
Oh, do not get arrested in Mexico. By the way, I wouldn't want to go to Turkey. I mean, there are a lot of bad places all around. But, you go into Switzerland, you go into Sweden, you go into most of the European countries, they have a far lower number of people in prison for a far lower period of time, and I address the use of alcoholics. But, if you have a illness, they help you with that. If you don't have a job, they help you get job skills. George, the citizen rate for PRNCs to go back into prison to help people get some job skills while they're in custody. We call them correctional institutes, but they're only correctional in the name only. We don't mostly help people get a degree, learn some job skills, and be able to go out and support themselves. Most people want to be able to do.
What's going on with carjacking and stuff that's at a record pace right now? It's out of control. I've seen videos of people pumping gas at a gas station, and a couple of thugs have come by, jump in that car that maybe was foolishly running or something like that, and take off his dealers. What's happening?
We are into a lawless thing. We have declared war on police in a lot of ways. Defund the police. So the police, and they know if they go out and they get into a little bit of trouble, they're going to get hounded. So they're much more reticent to get out of here. I was in Oakland about 2 months ago, city of Oakland. I went to Amsterdam University. Some people broke into a car, they smashed the rear window, they took a bunch of camera equipment, and so that the guy that had the car found out, called 911, didn't get a response, and a friend of mine who was with me, who's a former police officer, saw a police car going by, flagged them down, told them what had happened, and the guys weren't even interested. They report. It's like, I mean, goodness sakes, the police, if you get these carjackers know that they're not going to be tracked down, hey, that's an open invitation, and that's where we're going. Is just people have that feeling, which is a disaster for us all. I wrote an editorial op-ed piece with my friends, submitted it to the Oakland newspapers. They weren't even interested. I said, this is what happens. That's why crime is increasing in Oakland and other places, because the police are not doing their job. Because they know that sometimes if they make a mistake, they're going to get persecuted. Officers, I look them square in the face and say, you have an absolute mandate. Things like stealing that happened in Memphis, which I can't even discuss. But, if you get one of those essential problems, we're going to investigate and prosecute. Jim, we're going to come back in a moment and take phone calls with you in your last hour with us here on Coast to Coast. That's Jim Gray with us. His website, JimGray.com, linked up at coasttocoastam.com. Let's take calls with our next one. If you're a Coast Insider or simply want to enjoy our website on your phone, visit coasttocoastam.com on your iPhone or Android browser. Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeart Media can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your targeted audience than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost effectively. Across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We love to figure out iHeart Media can work for you. Starting today, iHeart Advertising. iHeartAdvertising.com. Could you use monthly payments to help you pay for food? Or putting food on the table, paying rent, or buying new shoes for growing kids? Find out about supplemental security income. You qualify for income and financial resources are low. Yeah, or an adult for cause with a disability or who's blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to FSA.gov/FSI to be participating in U.S. taxable spending. Here is a big game headquarters. Total Wine and Board. Scoring huge savings on the perfect purchases. Valentine's Day is right after. Oh, you did. You got this. Total Wine can help you score the perfect bubbly tour. Thank you, I would have been. Oh, you sure would have. Your big game Wine and More. Drink responsibly. 21. How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Dancing, you can cross it off your list before the time is over. Just tell us what you need. Be there, outspending the top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Dancing is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com, that's ANGI.com to get started. Everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We follow the news. You follow us. You know what? Los Angeles, Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Demanding answers. I'm Amy King in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Family members of a man in a wheelchair who was shot and killed by Huntington Beach police officers say they want answers. Anthony Rosie and his mother says their son was murdered. I don't want nobody's friend. They actually, I just want y'all to get justice. Police say Lowe stabbed another man last week and tried to throw a butcher knife at officers. Those relatives say he was a double MVP. Who's in a wheelchair? What can he do? The family and activists say the shooting is another example of police brutality. 2 more officers involved in the arrest, beating, and death of those in release of duty. And
and the Memphis Fire Department and paramedics and a lieutenant who responded to the scene while failing to give chopper aid to Nichols. The man who drove his Tesla off a cliff in Northern California with his family inside has been charged with 3 counts of attempted murder. The San Mateo County DA's office waited until he was out of the hospital to charge him. The man drove his wife and 2 children off a cliff at Devil's Slide earlier this month. The car fell about 300 feet. Officials say that the family was able to be rescued was an absolute miracle. Small businesses in Long Beach that have been impacted by crimes and vandalism can apply for funds through a new grant program. For the Visual Improvement Grant Program, businesses impacted by crime on or after October 1st of last year can apply. Grant applications will be accepted starting February 22nd. Michael Jackson's nephew, has been cast as the King of Pop in the biopic Michael. Jackson is the son of Michael's brother, Jermaine Jackson. It'll be his acting debut. Producer Graham King, who also produced Bohemian Rhapsody, says he was blown away by the way Jafar personified the spirit and personality of Michael. Southland weather from KSI, sunny skies with highs in the low to mid-60s at the beaches, Metro LA and Inland Sea, mid-50s to mid-60s in the valley to IE, 40s and 50s in the Antelope Valley, with a wind advisory in effect in the valleys through tomorrow evening, winds gusting to about 40 miles per hour. It's 51 in Orange, 52 Manhattan Beach, 49 in Cerritos, 48 in the Canyon Country. We read local in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Amy Kennedy.
And before we get there, we're showing 5 southbound from Calgary to 14. And that means going to be shut down for road work at 05. Expect delays in that area. El Monte, this is on the Denny Star right before Baldwin Avenue. Clean up crews from an earlier crash. Visit the right lane there. You're seeing delays as you approach this area. Pomona, we have good news. Earlier crash that was on the 71 northbound connector to the 57 northbound has been cleared from lanes. KFI in the Child, 50 years faster on Brian Van. On the Exorcist Files podcast, a leading exorcist and demonologist shares stories of disturbing and vicious cases of possession. For the last 2 decades, Father Carlos Martin has encountered evil in nearly every way imaginable. When Hollywood portrayed The Exorcist with levitation, vomiting, spitting at the tree, all of that has not been a movie scene. I've seen actors too. Listen to The Exorcist Files on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast. Do you have heart failure and often do it? Those chemicals just ruin your birth life. You're too tired to take that scent off. Who do you have?